Welcome back to Tranquil Waters 14 Days of Meditation Journey. Today we are going to speak about mantras. So, the word mantra is often interchanged with the word or the idea of an affirmation. And they're interchanged all the time, but they're actually quite different. And so, how I have often taught this is that affirmations are intended to be motivational, whereas mantras are sacred. Either of them can be a one word or a short phrase. Affirmations tend to be specific statements that help you overcome self sabotaging or negative thoughts. But a mantra is a sacred utterance recited aloud or repeated internally during a spiritual practice, such as, for example, our meditation practice. Affirmations are usually stated in the present tense of an I am type statement, meaning I am successful, I am happy, that sort of thing. But a mantra has more of a centering effect on us and uses less attachment to an actual word because it is more about the sound of the mantra than of the word itself. So, how I can best explain this is because of our own cultural conditioning and understanding of the English language. If I were to say the word car to you, what comes to mind? So you might have the idea of a car moving, like vroom vroom, whatever sound you attach to a car. The word car itself is a sound, but that sound has a meaning to you as well because you understand language. So you have a culturally conditioned attachment to the sound car and the picture that it creates in your head. And it creates a picture of a vehicle. If I say the word dog, you might think, again, woof woof. And you may think of your own dog, or maybe you don't like dogs and the word has more of a negative connotation. But again, the sound of the word dog has a tangible meaning to you. So, using mantras are more of a sound without the attachment of the meaning of the word or the utterance that you are making. In a normal group meditation practice, I would be teaching mantras to a class using Sanskrit words or sounds so that the meaning of the sound isn't already ingrained in us with some sort of an experience of what the word means. It basically is just a sound that we use linked to our breath to help us become focused and still in our practice. And Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages on the planet. And so, although it is not spoken traditionally anywhere in the world anymore, it is still the language from which the practice of yoga comes from. And so many of those words are also ingrained into typical meditation practices. And so, again, those are words that we may not have any sort of a cultural attachment to because we don't understand them. And so instead, we link to the sound that that word actually creates. So, why I suggest mantras for your practice instead of an affirmation? I guess mantras and positive affirmations are two unique ways to cultivate self care and nourish your mind, and especially during a meditation practice. So, in Eastern traditions, it is believed that words, whether taught or stated out loud, can affect our physical vibration and over time impact our perception of our circumstances in a positive way. So there's an actual definition, and mantras are defined as words, sounds, or invocations, either in Sanskrit or another language, that aid the individual in focusing concentration, deepening meditation, while also uniting him or her with a higher power. And mantras are associated with mysticism and spirituality and aim to liberate the mind from thought in order to facilitate inner peace. So that's a lot of big definition for a little word like mantra, but basically it's a way for us to focus our mind, and in doing so we focus that with our breath, and we're using a sound that doesn't have a cultural sort of image that goes along with it. On the other hand, though, a positive affirmation is a term that's used interchangeably with mantras, and they have very different origins and applications. So I had done a little bit of reading about this, and positive affirmations were developed in the early 1970s by neuroscientists, and it incorporated a modern understanding of psychotherapy and linguistics in order to consciously rewire thought patterns towards a more desirable outcome. So, affirmations can be stated anytime and tend to be complete sentences addressing something we wish to have or be, as if we already have it in the present moment. So, as I say, the words are often interchanged, but essentially, a mantra is a sound and an affirmation is a statement. So, if this might make it a little bit easier, it is not due to the meaning of the words that the mantra has its impact. It's the effect of the sound of the mantra that helps the mind to become still. And if you look at it this way, if we allow the syllables of our words to sort of just drift away, then we meditate on the feeling of the sound itself, which is more subtle. This eventually leads inward to deep awareness, and that is the root of sound. I guess it kind of really defies description, but I guess we could say that the sound, the root of the sound, is basically a soundless sound, if that makes any sense. It is just that vibration of that sound that we are linking our breath to. And the best way to understand it is basically just to practice it. So I would never advocate not using English words or affirmations in your practice, because if they help you stay in a mindful and committed practice, then by all means do that for you, especially if it gives you any kind of commitment to your practice. But for really deep, restful meditation, I feel that sometimes not having an attachment to a word or an outcome of a statement allows you to just rest in the sound and vibration, and then the mind tends to rest a lot quicker. The process of mentally repeating a mantra is called japa, which literally means muttering or mumbling in Sanskrit. And with practice, this becomes well rooted in the mind, and the sound of the mantra flows sort of continuously from moment to moment. And it may flow slowly, linked to the breath, or it may flow at a moderate pace, sort of disengaged at that point from the rhythm of the breathing. And after a considerable time of practicing this, the mantra can seem to be pulsing very rapidly, and the syllables no longer are even carefully articulated. So in this case, meditation with a mantra flows without exertion, and the mantra becomes audible without any mental exertion. And the inner space of the mind is just simply filled with sound, and that's it, just sound. So regular practitioners who use mantras sometimes refer to this phase of meditation as listening to the mantra. The mantra becomes audible without mental exertion, and then suddenly the mind is just filled with sound, and the practice becomes very effortless and quite delightful and very peaceful. If you've never practiced with a mantra, it might feel weird or a bit robotic, but with time, you'll find that mantra practice will lead to a much deeper understanding of yourself as you begin to sort of uncover new layers of your mind. And a mantra serves as a kind of centering device. It offers a resting place for the everyday mind, and it starts to collect all the distracting energies, brings spiritual insights forward, and then you can integrate those into your daily life. And I usually like to suggest that people link the mantra sound with the flow of the breath. So, sort of, I guess the most common Sanskrit word that people would recognize as a mantra is the word Om. And, we often see this as portrayed in pictures or videos or some sort of social media posting of the word Om. And so it's an easy word to link to your breath. So on an inhale, you would say Om. On an exhale, you would say Om. And you would just sort of link that sound until it almost becomes one word, just flowing on its own, and the breath is sort of in the background behind it. And as the mind becomes familiar with the sound of a mantra, it will naturally begin to pulse more quickly and effortlessly. And there's going to be times that our minds will wander, and that's normal. So, one thing is that I always suggest is you try to weave the sound of one mantra repetition into the next. And then as each repetition of the mantra ends, you sort of let the next one arise. Don't force the effort or anything like that. It's just a matter of making a very smooth transition. And for people who sing professionally and have had training in breath work in order to keep the words flowing on one breath, this is something that they would understand. This is a very easy flow of word, sound, and breath at the same time. So, mantras are really a wonderful and almost sacred way to get deeper into your meditation practice. And affirmations are also wonderful tools to help you bring about positive changes to your life. And when you are relaxed and calm, these words begin to take root in your mind and in your psyche. Like seeds in a garden, water and sunshine help them grow, but for us, rest and calm is what helps us flourish and grow. So, as we close out this tutorial for today, I will make a suggestion. I'd invite you to take, maybe between 3 to 5 minutes of just calm, quiet time to yourself. As usual, as I always say, find a nice, comfortable spot where you can be alone for a few moments undisturbed. Turn off your phone, close the door, whatever it is that you need to do to ensure that you have some privacy. And just simply close your eyes and begin to focus on your breath. And after a moment or two, perhaps just even using the word Om to start to link your breath to that word. And you may even find yourself beginning to chant it in your mind. However, it feels most natural to you to link breath and sound together. And because you're not going to focus so much on the meaning of the word Om, you'll begin to just focus on the vibration of the sound. And when the sound is all you have to focus on, your mind just simply rests. And so, a 3 to 5, if you can do 10 minutes, that's great, but 3 to 5 minutes of just simply sitting in quiet and practicing the word Om over and over in your mind and link it with each inhalation and exhalation. And then at the end of your time that you've allotted of 3 to 5 or 10 minutes, whatever it happens to be, just simply come back, open your eyes, and move on with your day. But try to take note if you feel any different. And I'm pretty sure you'll find that mantras are a wonderful tool to help you center and get into your practice a little bit deeper. So thank you again for joining today, and I will be back tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.